what I really wanted to do today and speak about today is the world of the invisible. When we're dealing with spirituality and we're dealing with understanding ourselves on a higher level and not necessarily with what's in front of us, we have to understand that this material world is a reflection of what we've been creating the whole time. You know, this material world is literally a projection of our imaginations. They're projections of the images that we've been holding in our heads the whole time. If you're sitting in a room right now, or if you're wearing clothes, there's nothing that hasn't been in somebody's head first. You know, we draw from the world of the invisible into the physical realm what we want. So that eventually we could learn something about ourselves. What are we learning about ourselves? We're learning that we are limitless. That no matter what they've told us, especially people of color, one of the forms of slavery was mental. Because they had to teach you that what was in front of you, what was on your physical body, what was in front of you, this experience was the only place, that earth was the only place, that this was the only realm that you could exist in. That's why they had to strip, people of color from their actual knowledge, because people of color know that even though there's one world right here, yes, in the physical realm, however, we close our eyes and there's a million. There's a trillion worlds that we can travel to and experience. And the way that the law of attraction works is that if you do hold one of these worlds in your mind, or states of mind in your head, you'll eventually be there. And that's the power of faith. Because I may be here physically, in front of you, but in here, I'm in Paris. In here, I'm in Egypt, but you're still physically looking at me like that. And if I hold that in my mind long enough, and I actually believe that even though my physical body is here in Manhattan, in New York, but that I'm really in one of these places, I will be transported there immediately, physically, because when you're dealing with the physical realm, you're dealing with slower vibration. Our thoughts has faster vibrations. That's why you can jump from here to here to here to here. You can go anywhere in your mind. So when you hold certain images or certain ideas in your mind for long enough, you hold it so long, eventually matter will catch up to you. You can't look outside for a confirmation constantly, because that shows that you don't really have faith in exactly in what you've been saying or to yourself. Like, manifestation is not about I will have or please give me, because if you're asking for something, you're only reaffirming that you don't have it. This is why the greatest prayer is a prayer of gratitude, if you ask me, because you're so sure in the thing that you're trying to manifest that it's almost like you're realizing already, like, yo, I've been had this. I got it already. And the universe reflects everything that you are. Like, this is why they have that old African saying that says, people are you pushed out, because that gives the idea that you're walking in your own mind, like that if you were to run into a negative person, if you were to run into a positive person, these people are reflections of you. Like, something in you, one way or another, was there at that point. Like, you see a negative person, this person, something in your vibrational frequency attracted these people. And because you've been so negative or positive, you're seeing them now. And that's the reason, honestly, that we fall in love. Because when we fall in love, we're actually recognizing ourselves in other people. Love is, as Willow Smith put it, is the realization that we're all in unity. When you realize and recognize somebody, when you look into their eyes and almost feel like you remember them from somewhere, that's because they've been a member with you at one point of the source, and they're reminding you of that. There's something very important about remembering when it comes to spirituality, because you have to constantly, meditation and prayer is all about remembering your source. Like, yes, life has been presenting all of these difficult situations and challenging situations around us. However, when you stop and you breathe and you listen for a second, you're remembering that something is bigger than you, that before you and beyond you, life will be. And it may not be in the same form that you're used to, but life will still be. That goes further and way beyond anything that you can ever conceive. But because we're all connected to Source, we have the ability to just sometimes close our eyes and connect. We have the ability to close our eyes and connect, or you don't have to close your eyes. That's what I personally do, but you can connect to the Source at any time you need to throughout the day, whenever you feel like, there's too much going on. You have to pay attention to your antenna. Like I said, antenna, the antenna that's on the inside. You have one. I don't know why people don't utilize this. Maybe because people forget it all the time, and forgetfulness is ego. Forgetfulness is not remembering that you're one with all things. When you forget the Source, you're functioning at a state of just like, oh my gosh, I have to, me, myself, and I has to handle this by myself. No, you have cosmic energy that you can tap into 24/7. You have got, it's literally around you. You can pull energy from the air if you believe. You can pull it from every single chakra within you. It's like, hey, yo, thank y'all for the support. You can pull it from every single chakra if you need to. Please, it's all around you. You're not confined to this body. Real spiritual masters understand or overstand or understand or just stand with this concept that they are one with everything around them, even the breath that you're breathing in right now as you're watching this video. I mean, really be present and be present in your body as you watch this for a second. Can you feel your hand without having to touch anything? Can you look at me? Energy's too high. Can you really recognize your hand's presence without having to touch anything? That's when you're realizing the energy coursing through your hand. You're like, wait a minute, this is a skin suit. And if I'm wearing a skin suit, then the person across me, do they know that they're wearing a skin suit? And then the deeper question is, where do we come from? If we're all just kind of in these bodies and just visiting, is what I'm seeing in front of my face the real thing? Because sometimes people will come to you and they will physically look beautiful, but sometimes you'll recognize that there's something about them that you are not exactly connecting with, and we call that negative vibes. So it's just interesting just how this world works and how this universe works. And I feel like right now is a point where the rise in consciousness is happening, and we need to band together, but first through realizing that we've always been together. Certain people are like, yo, one day we will become one in the spiritual community. One day we will become one. We already are one, though. The spiritual master understands that we've already been one. And that's why they say when you work on yourself, everything else will be reflective of that. And of course, you will have certain thoughts that come in the form of people. I always say that certain thoughts come in the form of people, and there'll be old thoughts too. Old thoughts that have old ways of doing things, and they will come to your new you and try to tell you that this is not the you that they knew. And say, no, this ain't you, but this is just old paradigms. And if you stay strong in your own paradigm, they eventually will leave. They can't even be in your vibrational frequency no more. You on AM, I'm on FM. My frequency modulation is on another level. So now I just am so happy for the rise in my own personal consciousness. La ilaha illallah. It's something that we say and that Muslims say, to remind themselves that La ilaha illallah is, on one level, it's there's nothing but Allah, and Allah is just the creator. I'm not even to impose religious, but there's nothing but there's no God but Allah. That's its one understanding. But on a higher level, the Muslims say La ilaha illallah means there is no thing but Allah. There's nothing but Allah, nothing other than Allah. In other words, that is me, that is you, that is everywhere you go. There's no separation from the oneness of the Creator and you. But you are not it alone. It's the collection of us and the collection of this experience that creates our reality, like that creates our realities. But you know, I just had to make this video to remind people of their interconnectedness with the Creator. And because you're interconnected, you have the ability to create too. It's just interesting. Like, even if you look at the internet for example, I was watching The Theory of Everything. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson along with, I forgot the other guy's name, but he was the world's leading mathematician, and he was a black brother, you know, dope, world's leading mathematicians. They all had a meeting. You should look it up. It's The Theory of Everything. And they were speaking about how they found computer code in the visible universe. The visible universe has computer codes up there. But yet, we came, that it was binary sequence specifically, is the 010101. So for some reason, the visible universe up there, that's been around before us, we come down, now we're created, and now we're putting the same thing within our computers and gadgets and so on and so forth. So that's the definition as above, so below. As above, so below is that no matter what level you look at the universe, it's constantly creating itself, which is through us. It's constantly creating itself over and over and over, replicating itself, and we call these things fractals. Another thing I wanted to speak about, which is kind of beyond fractals, and it's just kind of, you're just going to have to segue with me because the energy is just flowing, is cymatics. Now, cymatics, some people know about cymatics. Cymatics. People know about cymatics, and cymatics has to do with sound. Now, how sound vibrations affect the shapes of things. Like, look up cymatics. It's CYMATICS. Now, depending on the cymatic studies, depending on, they would take salt, right, and they'll put it on something flat, right, and they will put on a sound frequency. And if you watch it, go look it up on YouTube when you have the time. If you watch it, you will see the shape of the salt take different shapes, like circles, and there will be different patterns, like universal patterns, just because they change the sound, because sounds affect you. Sounds, the music you listen to affects you, which is why they change the tunes of music, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, and since your body's like, what percent water, baby, is your body?
98.
Like 90 something, like 98% water, because your body is mostly water. The things that you say, the sacred tones, the help regulate the water of within your body and help regulate the functions within your body up and down. There's so much game out here, yo, and there's so much drip out here, and this is why I feel like, you know, especially I learned a lot through hip hop. I'm from the Bronx, New York originally, so home of the hip hop. Shout out to BX. I've been learning that the youth now has had a disconnect with the elders, and the elders have had a disconnect with the youth, because the elders feel that the youngins are just crazy, and the youngins just feel like the elders just don't know nothing. And that's kind of sad, because on both sides there's bags to be gotten. And when I say bags, I'm talking about knowledge, I'm talking about information. There's information to be gotten. So I get information from young, and I get information from old, and sometimes I hope to be the mediator between the two worlds, so that we can begin to understand each other. Because, you know, just because we're getting a whole flow of information doesn't mean that this information hasn't been going on for years and years and years before us. Some of this information may be new, but in all reality, this information is ancient. Just because we're getting deeper understanding about this information now doesn't mean that our ancestors weren't already on this. Like, please, you're trying to study what we were doing naturally already. You can listen to your nature and know how to maneuver out here. Certain people hate living in a concrete jungle, for instance. Certain people hate living, like I live in New York City. Certain people hate living in New York City because they feel like, the spiritual ones, they feel like, oh, it's so far from nature, and like it's so like, but at the same time, the spirit has a life of its own. The city, has a life of its own. It has its own kind of like spirit. It has its own energy. And if you live here, you would know that. You would know that even from the concrete out of the ground, because there's really nothing not natural. My friend Nietzsche taught me that. He said that even the gravel in the ground is rearranged rearranged earth stuff, rearranged rocks. Like, there's nothing, like, even metal comes out of the ground. There's nothing really that's not natural, it's just rearranged. Now, it's of nature. And even the fact that we take these things and these chemicals and rearrange certain things, that's nature, that's human nature. So it's just another aspect or another side of nature. Yo, if anybody has any questions, please drop some questions, because I appreciate, wow, y'all showing mad love. Jesus Christ. I mean, y'all showing mad love. If anybody has any questions, I'm just on a tangent right now. You know, we're constantly, imagination, if y'all haven't seen my video on imagination, is on YouTube. The link is in my bio, because I was speaking about how you know, many people, especially as we grow up, we forget the power of our imagination. We forget the power of pretending. Pretending. Break that word down for a second. Pretend. It's tending to something before it's here. It's almost acting as if you already have the thing that is not physically here. Why did we forget about pretending? Why are they taking away art programs from low-income communities, like, and music programs from low-income communities in schools? Like, why are they doing that? Is it because they know that if you were to tap into your imagination, then there would be some sort of power in there that can be grafted out and brought into this world? Is that why? I mean, I don't know. But for some reason, they don't teach us this stuff. You cannot be a billionaire without imagination. You're going to need a very strong understanding of imagination, and you're going to have to understand focus in order to hold what you found in your imagination so long in your mind to eventually push it out. And that is, you need faith with. But all that stuff I explained in the bio. Yeah, I'm about to cut it off here, but yo, I appreciate y'all. Yo, if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds. You know, using ham for my throat chakra. What that mean? Let's see. Oh, ham. Oh, I got you. I feel that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna save this, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna post it on IGTV. And I'm gonna post it on Sauce Talk as well. There's more to come. The mantra, I feel that. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm gonna post it on Sauce Talk as well. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the vibes and the blessings. Divine Love King Al-Kabar. Everybody go follow Al-Kabar. Yeah, and Nene the Millionaire. I appreciate all y'all loves, yo. Peace and blessings.